Mike. Welcome on into the real. Welcome back to the real with Joseph Lamtman. I am Joseph Lamtman, my main man, Michael Antonace. Mike, what's
I
happening this
am
beautiful
Mikey.
Sunday?
It was a great football Sunday. I think we all of us can agree, Browns fans, football fans. Great day for football. There were some great games on today, but if you're a Browns fan like me and Joseph here, I think today was extremely cathartic for all of us.
Oh man, unbelievable! Welcome on into the real. Welcome back. A little post game reaction tonight for you guys. Mike, gonna come on and share our thoughts real quick for today's game as the Browns get the dub today, 24-3 at home. Complete domination from the Browns, I thought, from start to finish. Defensively was the biggest thing today. Jim Schwartz's defense. They did not look like a defense under a new coordinator at all. My first takeaway from that, we'll start with the defense, Mike. Uh, that defensive line is insane. That defensive line is gonna be just the way they're able to scheme. One play Miles Garrett's over the center. He's back on the edge. They're moving Zadarius inside. You got Ogbo, Zadarius, and Miles out there at the same time. Against the run, Dalvin Tomlinson, you saw the effect with him. Shelby Harris made some nice tackles in the run. JOK
Yep.
coming in from line. I mean, that front seven as a whole, especially that line, is kudos to Andrew Berry. You just saw it today.
I agree, and yeah, absolutely give the defense their flowers because they they proved today that they have the ability and capability to be a top five defense. Because
Mm-hmm.
I know people are going to say, "Well, it's just one game. It's just game one." Well, this is what I say to that: you're not going to play. There aren't many better offenses than the Bengals' offense in the NFL. There really isn't. Quarterback, receiver core. Their running game might not be great, especially without Samaje Perine.
Your running game is not. Yeah, without P Ryan was actually. I think Samaje
I
P
think he
Ryan
was their
was a
best
bigger
back.
loss. Possibly. I mean, I think the depth though was a bigger loss than people thought. Because I mean,
Right.
when you can't run the ball like today, and their offensive
Oh,
line is 50-50. Like I mean, they paid all the money to Orlando Brown, but Orlando Brown, I mean, Miles Garrett was
right.
coming all game today.
Yeah. And Zadarius Smith, he didn't have a sack, but he had a ton of pressures, was incredibly good in the run game, made some great stops in the run. Two sacks on the day, one from our third B end, Agba Okonkwo, with the first sack, and then the second sack coming from yours truly, Miles Garrett,
And then
coming up
at
big
the end of the
on
game, that was a hell of a sack, by the way. Split the
that
double
was a
team,
came
and then
yeah
oh
split the
man,
double team, came up big, turnover on downs, which resulted in a touchdown for the Browns. Absolute defensive domination. And here's a stat that I find fun. I have some stats myself pulled up. Not a single one of their receivers eclipsed 40 yards, guys. 40 yards. Not Jamar Chase. T. Higgins, out of 5 targets, this is his stat line off of 5 targets. T. Higgins, who a lot of people say is the best number two receiver in the NFL. A lot of people consider him to be like just 1B to Jamar Chase.
very
Out
good
of
young
five
player.
targets, 0 yards, 0 touchdown. Zero. 0.0 yards. Tyler Boyd, 15 yards. Jamar Chase had 38 yards. The best wide receiver, the best passing attack in football, did not eclipse 38 yards. Joe Burrow, 82 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, -1 rushing yards. Um, yeah, I don't think so. You said the defensive line, and while I agree they played excellent, I want to give the flowers to the DBs because I think we can all agree after last
Well,
year, the miscommunication in the backfield, that was a big concern, right?
and Juan Thornhill didn't play today, but Rodney
Juan
McLeod
Thornhill
stepped
did
in
not.
like a vet and looked great.
I think Grant Delpit played amazing. If he keeps playing like that, we're going to have to franchise tag him. He was everywhere, dude.
Yeah, he's my actually. Well, we're gonna do our player. He's my player of the game, to be honest with you.
I would agree.
He's
He's
my
mine
player.
too.
And I thought he made. I thought Elijah Moore's play, the little when he ended around and reverse field, I thought was the spark play of the game.
Yeah, and he had a couple really good catches too.
I thought you spoke about T. Higgins. I thought the play of the game was Grant's deflection on T. Higgins and towards it was 1-on-1 towards the goal line. Because if T punches that ball, they probably punch it in there, and it's probably you got a ball game still. The score was still close, and you don't want to give them any momentum. That was I thought Grant Delpit's deflection on T. Higgins there down on the 5, it was 1-on-1. He deflected that pass. I thought that was the most key play of the game because it took out all the momentum. There was no chance of them. You know what I mean? Like it was just like that was because T. Higgins is very good, and T. Higgins is probably going to catch that ball. It's a 50-50 ball. He's probably going to win a lot of times. He's very good. He still got up very high. I thought that play there, that deflection was the key play of the game that really just killed their momentum.
My play of the game that I think killed their momentum was the Myles Garrett sack to turn over on downs. I think that was that because I think right after that series, after that touchdown, and after that 2-point conversion, the Bengals, with 6 minutes left, pulled Joe Burrow out of the game and threw is it Jake Browning, I think?
Yeah.
His name is?
Yeah, they just tapped out, put Jake Browning out there with 5 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, like a lot of time left for an NFL game. And I get you're down 21, but still, I mean, I guess if you're getting pressure on Joe Burrow the whole time, you don't want to risk injury.
They couldn't figure
It's not a great look.
It's
not a great look.
They couldn't figure anything out.
No,
they tried everything. They were trying, like they were pushing the ball still. They were
trying to run the ball, tried to switch to the run. They tried to switch to the team.
Yeah, I mean they tried, and the guy who I think is going to be the best out of all the DBs were great. Denzel was great. Greg Newsom was great, but MJ Emerson is.
Oh yeah, great game too. They all had a great game.
They all had a great game, but you can just see MJ. My gosh, that potential, that guy, man, he's going to be a name. He's going to be a household name for a lot of years to come.
I agree. I mean, here I watched, watching that whole game. There is a play from each DB that you can pick out. There was a really great pass breakup from Greg Newsom on Tyler Boyd where he legit just swatted the ball down at perfect time. There was a play from each DB.
Denzel
played a great game, especially coming out of concussion.
Well, you know what, though? He always takes it to Jamar, and I don't think Jamar's ever got the best of Denzel.
And I don't think so either.
Denzel always gets Jamar. Like, every time they play each other, remember there's a pick 6 2 years ago, and then last year got him at home. And this year, that game today, but the first game today, Denzel always gets the best of Jamar Chase, but, Cleveland's Cleveland, so.
Right.
Cleveland's Cleveland.
And I think we covered the defense pretty well. I mean, they played amazing. Jim Schwartz got the ball.
JOK looked really good. I like the way. You know what I noticed about the defense the most?
Taki had a great game too.
Well, I was about to cover the linebacking core. The pursuit on the linebacking core, their angles, the pursuit angles, the way they were flashing, just flying to the ball, I thought was great. JOK had a really key tackle there on the run. It was.
For the loss, I remember that. Yeah,
the middle, he stepped up and got in there. The tackling though overall from the defense was so good. Like the tackling was great. There wasn't. I don't remember one missed tackle outside of maybe the one chase where Chase escaped the 2 guys up the sideline. Maybe one more, but that's not a lot. I mean, compared to last year, and this is why, to piggyback off your point, why can this defense be a top 5 defense? After one game, how can we say that? Well, I said it going into the season. I thought they could be because the coaching, Jim Schwartz, that is a hell of a coaching job he did in this offseason to turn that around. Number one, Andrew Berry in the personnel, but the buy-in, the culture, the attitude. I think Myles Garrett steps up more as a leader now. Which I think he always had. I think now Myles, you can just see Myles has a different vibe to him this year. Like it's a little more personal. I think all the guys, it looks more personal. Like it looks more like a culture, like a dog mentality. And I think you're right. Why? When people say, how can you stay after one game? I never seen a team with a new coordinator look that good after one game and all the new personnel.
Right.
But you know what? They got a lot of veteran experience, which is very, very key, and it showed today.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Browns' defense shined today, and they deserve all the flowers possible. Real quick, if you want to move on to special teams, another gentleman.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Dustin Hopkins is the man.
Yeah, Dustin Hopkins. He did his job. We traded a 7th round pick for a kicker, and he did his job. Bad conditions, windy day, Cleveland. Even he said in interviews as soon as we traded for him, it's not a easy place to kick. Did not miss a field goal. Did not miss an extra point. That is extremely important. He went out there and did his job.
The ultimate test because it was blowing sideways rain.
Mm-hmm.
You can kick in that. You can kick in anything, and yeah, that first kick was impressive too. It's funny. My dad and I were sitting there. We're like, okay, how's it gonna look? Let's see how this guy looks. Right down the middle.
Yeah, it was great to see just a good, clean operation from our special teams. So
he only had one botch kick, Bajorquez, but I thought overall Bajorquez had a hell of a game. Their punter did not.
Oh yeah,
at all. Their punter was awful.
Oh, he was tired.
Yeah, he was bad.
He was tired by the end of the game.
Shanked the one kick.
Yep.
But I thought special teams was pretty good. I thought the tackling was great too on the punt. I mean, Bajorquez, he had one bad 30-yard punt, but outside of that, he was pretty damn good. I mean, he was launching.
Yeah.
That one he had
I mean, but in those conditions, some punts are going to go awry. That's just what's going to happen. It can't be perfect every time. But Bajorquez did have a good game. I think he's a good punter. If you'd like to move to the offense,
we're going to get to that. Let me pull up the stats here. By the way, anybody wants to come in and give your thoughts, the link is in the chat right here. So come on in if you want to come in and give your 2 cents. We'd love to hear it. Let me pin.
Congratulations to Corey's Falcons. I saw they got the dub. Bijan Robinson doing Bijan Robinson.
They can run the ball and their defense is okay. So, and that division isn't great. It's curious. Desmond played a smart game. I like how Desmond played. It was very efficient.
We
got Schnooks joining us, Mike.
Big Schnooks.
Big Schnooks.
Schnooks is in the house.
Get Hopkins on a lifetime contract.
Yeah. What'd you say?
I like that.
Yeah, lifetime contract. Get him a heated driveway.
Good kid, Dustin Hopkins. We traded for the right D-Hop.
Yeah, we got the right D-Hop. But I get that real cool. Mike and I went over the defense. So we'll start with your opinion. What is your thoughts overall on the defense today? Mike and I think they could be top 5. How good they look under Short.
Absolutely top 5. I mean, and they got better as the game went on. I mean, it's just they dialed it up in fourth quarter. You know what I mean? Miles Garrett's Mr. Fourth Quarter, always has been. That play where he split those 2 defenders and got the Burrow was just awesome. So I couldn't. It just didn't even seem like I was watching the Browns. I mean, they just looked what.
It's because this is the biggest thing, Joe. You just said you don't think you were watching the Browns. You know why? Because for the first time in years, I watched a game where the Cleveland Browns played complementary football on all stages of the ball. Special teams, defense, offense. Complementary football. And it's been so damn long since we've seen that.
You're right. I told our neighbor, I was outside doing something. I told our neighbor, I said, it might be the best game I've seen since the 80s.
Just complete domination.
I mean, they did, man. They just dominated. I mean, I just love the intensity, the enthusiasm. Hats off to Jim Schwartz. My gosh, man, it just shows you how important a coach is. It was a really good effort. I still thought they played well considering the weather. I think Watson would have had a much better game if it wasn't for the weather. I mean, it was hard to throw those balls.
He looked better in the second half.
Oh, I know, but right, he did. But once it stopped raining, but some of those balls that were falling short, he just couldn't get his footing. So
Mike and I gave our key plays defensively. Mike thought the Garrett sack at the end of the game was one that closed the deal. I thought, and I was sitting next to you. Remember when T. Higgins went up for the jump ball and Grant Delpit deflected it at last second? And it was and usually, if he catches that right there, you might score, but they're probably going to score on that drive there. I thought that was the play that really killed the momentum. It was a hell of a play, too. What was the play that stood out to you defensively? You think that really put the nail in the coffin?
First play of the game.
Really?
That first play, they got that pressure on.
Zadarius got back there.
Yeah, just set the tone. It was just.
Got that QB hit.
Yeah.
That to me just kind of because it set the tone for the whole game. And Yeah, I mean, just to get in there that fast and get his hand on that ball the way he did. So, what's that do to the psych? You can say, well, yeah, Joe Burrow's, he's a pro. Guy's a good quarterback. He's just got a $275 million contract. What's that do to his psyche, though? First play of the game, and that kind of pressure came.
They looked kind of lost throughout the game.
Right. I think they got punched in the damn face, and they didn't know how to respond.
Like any adjustment they tried, no adjustment worked. Nothing.
No.
I mean, I know Joe Burrow didn't go through training camp. He's not 100%. I think that obviously plays a factor, but they just didn't look. They just looked lost. I don't know. They just looked lost. Like they could not figure them out.
They didn't. Well, here's what happened. They didn't game plan for that kind of weather. I think everybody was kind of surprised by it, and they just their game plan was thrown off, and they didn't adjust, like you said. I think the Browns, thank gosh for the run game,
they couldn't figure out
on the rock
did not work.
Yeah,
when you can
run the ball. So that's what helped the Browns, and O-line did a great job, and running backs did a great job. It was just I can't tell you how excited I am. It was just awesome to watch.
Absolutely. And let's go to the offense now, if you'd like.
Let me pull up the stats here, and we'll start off with the stats here, Mike. I'll let you give a rundown here. Go ahead, Mike. Take it from here.
All righty. So Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson, 154 yards, passing 16 for 29, 1 touchdown, 1 INT. Rushing, Nick Chubb doing Nick Chubb things. 18 carries for 106 yards.
Nick Chubb. We just put the bed real quick that Nick Chubb's the best running back in football.
Best running back.
Can we stop at that debate, please? I know Chris McCaffrey's a great player, but Nick Chubb, man, the cutbacks today, he could play in any era. I didn't mean to cut you off, Mike, but I just had to point that out to that. Nick Chubb. Every time I watch Nick Chubb, I just appreciate him more and more.
Yeah, what's he do for the offense too? You know what I mean? I mean, if I'm a receiver, certainly the lineman, and I got a guy doing what he does and so selfless, I mean, it just makes me want to work harder. So, yeah, dude, it's awesome. I love him.
And Deshaun Watson, 5 carries for 45 yards and a rushing touchdown. Jerome Ford, 15 carries. Didn't get that. 36 yards. Elijah Moore, 2 carries for 19. And I will say that.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Jerome Ford, after the fumble, he actually had a pretty good game after that fumble, I thought he responded really well. Had a couple of really strong runs.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I thought after the fumble, he came out. I like how Stefanski stuck with him, though.
Oh, absolutely. I think that, and he's
confident in him.
Mm-hmm. So Deshaun Watson essentially responsible for over 200 yards of offense. And he looked poised. He looked in charge. Who's the leading receiver? Is there receiving yards on this stat sheet?
Oh, let me scroll down here. Here we go. So the most Nick Chubb actually led the game in receptions. Now, let's see here. Elijah Moore went 7 targets, 3 receptions, 43 yards. Amari Cooper, same targets, same receptions, 37 yards. Amari had some key, couple first down catches. David Njoku got going in the end of the game with 2 catches in the fourth quarter. And the only touchdown catch was Harrison Bryant, which was actually a great play call.
Right.
Yeah, I thought too. Like, Marquise Goodwin would have had that one. I think Watson he barely missed, overshot him in the beginning of the game. That was a hell of a play concept too. Elijah caught the snap, gave it back to Watson, and it almost worked. It probably should have worked. I think both quarterbacks today could not throw the ball effectively and consistently because of the rain. And you saw Burrow had the glove on, then he had it off. Watson was rubbing his hands constantly after a lot of throws. Was complaining about him.
Yet Deshaun Watson still over doubled Joe Burrow's production.
And I think too, the touchdown run was great because I love the way they schemed it up. It was bunch right trips on the right side of the field, or bunch trips on the right side of the field. So all the defense went over there. and it was just 1-on-1 on the bottom left of the screen on the far hash. It was Amari Cooper 1-on-1, but that left side of the field was open. It was only one high safety too, I believe, too. And great play call because they were not expecting it. It was just an easy run lane for Deshaun just to follow his block. All Amari had to do was just give him a seam to pick whatever side he wanted to go, and he took it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great run. And again, I think Deshaun Watson again, that 20-yard completion, that long completion of Elijah as well. I thought David Njoku had the key first down. I think we're going to see this passing attack open up a little bit next week against the Steelers. I think weather's supposed to be better at Pittsburgh. And gentlemen, if I may say, Steelers look bad. They look very bad. They look very good. Their offense, I think, in the first half, managed 1 whole yard of offense. 1 whole yard.
That's it?
They looked horrendous. That was it. Kenny Pickett threw 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. They lost 30-7. It was.
It didn't sound like it was the other quarter. I heard Lamar didn't play good today either.
No, Lamar did not have
in the air,
but they still managed to win.
Yeah.
Prayers up for J.K. Dobbins.
And Jack Conklin too.
And Jack Conklin, who's out for the season.
And shout out to DeJuan Jones, who just stepped in and looked like just a seasoned vet.
Absolutely.
No issue at all. DeJuan Jones is the man. But real quick, Dad, what was your take on the offensive side of the ball? What player, what stood out to you?
DeJuan Jones. As I'm watching a game, I'm like, here, this dude, and normally a rookie comes in, there's pressure. And obviously the dude's just he's a damn Mack truck, but which the running game actually got better after he came in. You know what I mean? And then that one play where he was pushing the pile.
And signaled the first down too at the same time.
Yeah, I mean that's terrible for Jack Conklin. You knew when you saw the replay, and you saw him laying on the ground screaming. You knew
he landed right on his leg. It was awful.
But my gosh, what an insurance policy, that draft pick. How often does that happen when you have one of your key linemen go down and you can just bring in another guy, let alone a rookie, and you're almost better? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just that dude's amazing, and it's just gonna get better and better.
He's gonna have the opportunity to learn fast.
Right.
Yeah, I think that draft pick and the Martin Emerson pick have probably been my 2 favorite picks by Andrew Berry.
Andrew Berry,
very, very good. Those 2 right there are very key picks because both are starters. Even though DeJuan Jones didn't start right away, he could start on many other teams.
Right.
No, I'm gonna say after Chubb, you know what I mean, and Watson did a nice job managing everything, obviously, but DeJuan Jones, I mean, just to come in and first real NFL game and play the way he played. I mean, you didn't see any pressure from that side.
No, I agree. I also saw something today, Mike, that I never saw in my lifetime as a Browns fan in 24 years since they came back in '99. And what I can remember was remember the throw Deshaun made in the second half to Donovan Jones on the sideline over the defender. I've never seen a Browns quarterback in my lifetime make a throw like that, Mike.
Yeah, that was an amazing throw. And that's what you're going to get with Deshaun. Deshaun is, he's like just a more refined kind of Lamar Jackson kind of quarterback where he can make plays with his legs and he's going to do that, but he can make those really, really hard throws like that. And it's a beautiful thing. And I'm so excited to see what they do against the Steelers because, gentlemen, if we start 2-0, especially to start the season, but that would put us 2-0 in the division. And then you have the 2-week home stretch against Tennessee, who looks awful.
Terrible.
By the way. And then you have the Ravens at home, and I think we'll beat them at home. It's going to be, if we're 4-0 going into the bye week, or our early bye week, sky's the limit for this team. Really is.
This city's going to be on fire.
Yeah.
I agree.
And
I think too what stood out to me today, I love the play calling. I thought was really good. There was sometimes the
play
play
calling.
calling you could tell he was just settling for the field goal, which all right. But I thought overall the play calling was good. I thought too, um, Jed Wills, he gave up a couple sack. He gave up one sack with Trey Hendrickson, but I thought later on as the game went on, the run blocking he got a lot
settled.
better. He settled in
Yeah.
with a lot of holes. The whole offensive line looked great. I mean, the run blocking was pretty
They
good.
started shaky at first. In the
Started
first
shaky,
quarter,
but as the
first
game
half,
went
they
on, though, when you needed it most, when you needed those big chunk play, that when you need Nick Chubb to get the lanes,
Yeah.
find that seam, they did a nice job. Jerome Ford got it going a little bit. I thought the O line overall was pretty solid. I thought, too, the
Wyatt
great.
Teller played amazing.
Yeah,
Speaking
Wyatt
of the
Teller
whole,
was great.
good for Wyatt, because I was worried about Wyatt, because after last season he had a really shaky year. I know he wasn't 100% healthy, but it was great to see Wyatt out there blocking really well, didn't allow pressure, and in the run game he was, getting to the second level, laying down some pancakes. Same with
He had a
Joel.
big one
It
there
was
on
really
the. I
great
think it
to
was
see
Jerome
Wyatt.
Ford. Somebody, I think it was Nick or Jerome, broke it on the left side, and Wyatt pulled out and just waxed this dude. I mean,
Yeah.
annihilated him. But I
Yeah,
think
I was
too,
glad to see Wyatt have a good game.
what did you guys think of the creativity on offense? There was a lot of uniqueness today, just a lot of more trickery, a lot more like kind of Kansas City-esque,
I liked it. It keeps the defense off balance.
and a lot more aggressive too.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that you have Chubb, you have Jerome Ford, then it's like having a 12th man when you have somebody like Watts that can run the ball. But the other thing is, I want to see more of that Elijah Moore out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
that
just,
run he had where he saw that the hole wasn't there, so he landed back the other way and then broke off for 19. That was amazing.
He just reversed. And Watson put on a hell of a block there.
Yeah, so you have those four. You got four different types of runners, but then you got the play calling. It just keeps the defense off balance. They can't, you know what I mean? They can't get in a rhythm. They can't. They're going side to side. They're going. I thought the play calling was great.
I agree.
So I couldn't been. I can't complain. So
good for Kev. You hear me, Dan? Dan Malott, if you're watching, Coach Kev coached a good game. I like them. Like them apples, you hater.
He's got to coach good games. If not, his ass is gone.
Yeah. I always believed in Kevin, though. I always did. I knew as soon as he would get a good quarterback in here, it would look like a completely different operation. And I know we're one game in, but it has looked like a completely different operation. He gets good coordinators around him that can actually do their job. By the way, if we're talking about coordinators, we need to investigate Joe Woods as a war criminal, because I cannot believe he had this personnel and looked that bad.
The D line wasn't what it is now, but I see what you're saying.
No, it's not. But he should be He should be investigated.
Well, that's why there's elite coaches and there's coaches. I mean, it's just a difference in coaching. That's why Jim Schwartz has been in the league so long and got this job when he did, and Joe Woods is just some other dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and Joe Woods, or not Joe Woods, Jim Schwartz, just you can see the buy-in, the respect from the players, the communication. Just the fire, the edge. He came in and demanded respect, and they bought in, and that's what he's got. And you saw it today. And I think that's why. I'll ask you, Dad. My player of the game, Mike. I think you had the same. Was Grant Delpit. I thought Grant Delpit had the best game.
Yes,
that'd be your player of the game as well.
It was finally nice to see the guy they drafted, who they thought they were going to get, and I thought Delpit. That was obviously the best game he's ever had.
He looked like LSU Delpit, like top 5 games before he got hurt.
Yeah, he looked amazing. He looked good in coverage. He was tackling in the run. He was making plays in the run game. He looked like, if he keeps this up, I'm worried if he keeps this up, because we're gonna have to franchise tag him and find a way to pay him, because this is last year. I hope, like, if he keeps this up, we're gonna have to figure out a way to pay this guy.
Yeah, I think too. Here, we'll do it like this. We'll defense player of the game, offense. So that'll be our defense player of the game. Offensive player of the game, I'm gonna go with DeJuan Jones, because he stepped in like that and played that well. Mike, who do you got for offensive player of the game?
I'm going to go Deshaun Watson, because
Yeah.
after all of the adversity in the offseason, everybody hating on him, it wasn't like a perfect game from him, but the conditions were bad. First
Still
full
found a
game,
way.
division game, still found a way. 2 touchdowns, 200 yards of offense, was in command, looked poised, looked in command. I'm going to give it to Deshaun because after all the adversity, all the talk, he came out big in big moments when we needed him to, and he helped win us the game. So I'm going to give it to QB1.
I'm gonna go Deshaun too. I mean, just the how much of DeJuan Jones is Deshaun in the huddle? You know what I mean? Making him feel comfortable. You know what I mean? Keeping his nerves down, feeling good. But then again, the 2-point conversion, we reached over.
Yeah.
I mean, just that's all those small things that he does. The football IQ. Yeah, I mean, he makes it go. You know what I mean? And what's he saying to those guys in the huddle? And those guys are doing what they're doing because they believe in. They finally got a quarterback they believe in.
They believe in
he
this
only
team.
had the one bad play, the interception. I think he tried to force
it. Was tipped up.
They got tipped. But I know he probably wishes he probably shouldn't have threw it.
He wants to play back, but
yeah, I mean it wasn't the worst interception, but a lot of times he makes those plays, scrambling, finding guys downfield. But overall, yeah, no, I agree. He's found a way, even when because both quarterbacks, like I said, both quarterbacks could not get the ball to go how they wanted it to because of how wet the ball was. But I thought once he scored that touchdown, you could just see that Russ, just everything, he looks more settled. I thought he was a little anxious the first half. Just because it was 3 years. I mean,
I think that's just about one.
It was 3 years since he hadn't really played a real game. 3 years. I don't really consider last year. That was more just a practice. This was the real game. Like, this is it. Like, you have to play well. And I thought once he scored that touchdown, I feel like it was like the confidence was back. Okay, I'm back now.
Well, here's the other thing is it has to be kind of a relief when you're no longer the highest paid guy in the league, the highest paid quarterback. So it takes some pressure off. You know what I mean? Now it's all on Burrow. And I don't give a shit what you say. That's pressure, man. Like Joe Burrow.
And Burrow gets more money overall because Mike and I were talking about this yesterday on the phone. Burrow may get 218 guaranteed, which is like what, 12 million less guaranteed than Watson.
Yeah.
But the reason why Watson demanded guaranteed money, all guaranteed, is because guess what? You think Deshaun Watson's getting any ad revenue off the field anytime soon? Any ads? Any commercials? Anything? No. That's why guys take less money and go to play like in places like LA because they'll make more money off the court or off the field in bigger cities, bigger markets. That's how they even it out. They actually make more. Like LeBron could have signed a $230 million contract in Cleveland, Supermax in 2018, but he took the 155 in LA because he's gonna make way more. He probably made, gosh, who knows how much money in the last 5 years out in LA? Way more than he would have made here because he makes more money off the court out there. But it's the same thing, and so people always talk about the guaranteed money, all guaranteed, and all that shit we heard for 2 years. They didn't really understand. They didn't think about the long-term view, like we were saying, and that he had to get all his guaranteed money because he's not getting any ads anytime. No one's going to put him in a commercial anytime soon, not for a long, long time.
Right. I agree.
He's got to get all the money he can. But yeah, the pressure's on Joe Burrow now. So
here, it is. And then at the end of the day, as long as they win a Super Bowl, no one's ever going to give a shit about that they paid. They said, okay, we'll give it all to you, guaranteed. You've heard people bitch and complain about that. But if they win,
always a empty argument because we said it back then. Look at all the Amazon money that's come in a year and a half, just a year and a half. And not only that, like Coach JB says over his show, shout out to Coach JB, eventually they're going to have their own, quarterbacks going to have their own cap eventually. That's where it's going. In probably 2 years, 3 years, I mean, the quarterbacks will have their own cap, separate cap, because how much money they're going to be getting paid. And so,
guys, I think the AFC is wide open. Like after watching this week, I mean, our division, as competitive as it is, the Ravens, I think expected. The Steelers are bad. I think the Bengals will bounce back a little bit, but we're good against them. The Chiefs look very beatable this year. I think if we keep it up,
I wasn't impressed with the Chiefs. I thought, I'm gonna be honest with you, Mike. I thought you saw kind of a difference even in the play calling with the enemy gone. And
absolutely,
Matt Nagy back there now. Because I
right,
agree.
and what I told you, I don't believe in their receivers. I've said it multiple times on these podcasts. I mean, and I hate that the national media was saying, hey, it doesn't count. Travis Kelce and Chris Jones aren't in there. Well, here's the thing. If you're missing one tight end, even if it's the best tight end in football, your whole wide receiver core is healthy. Your tight end, too, is healthy, and you say you have the best quarterback in the league, and you're telling me you can't get the job done against the Lions, who I think have improved year to year, but they're still the Lions. I don't think
the Chiefs, Mike, they looked like how you and I had said going into the season. Defensively, they took a drop.
Yep.
They lost their left tackle. The offensive line didn't look good.
They lost their left tackle, their right tackle.
Yeah. Aiden Hutchinson was just doing whatever he wanted all game, just getting pressure, flushing the pocket. They can't run the ball. They have no real running back, really.
Nope.
And they're only who's the receiver? Number one receiver, Rashid Rice, the rookie.
Rashid Rice. No, I think Kadarius Toney was actually lining up.
And he dropped like 8 balls?
4. Which is still...
He dropped so many passes. I mean...
And the passes he dropped were criminal. They were right to his hand.
Wide open.
Wide open.
Him and I were watching. Remember when he dropped the ball? And I looked over at my dad. He was just like, my gosh, this is terrible.
Yeah.
But, no, I agree.
They lost to the Lions. And the Lions by no means look like world beaters. They look like a good team.
Can run the ball in the AFC like us. Bengals.
No. I'd say
the Bengals can't run the ball. I don't think
I'd say
the Bills aren't gonna be able to run the ball.
I'd say the Jets might be able to. I say the Jags might be able to.
The Jets and the Jets and the Jags can, and they have the quarterback play too. But the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Bengals, they can't run the ball efficiently, not consistently.
How long? And here's a side question for you, just because I watched the highlights of the Raiders-Broncos game. How long do you think that experiment's going to last before Sean Payton cuts Russell Wilson?
The writing's on the wall. Did you see what Sean Payton said to the media this week in those comments?
The stop kissing all the babies thing?
Kissing all the babies. Stop. He basically said stop being a politician and be more a quarterback. Sean Payton, and here, Matt McChesney, who covers the Broncos, that former ex-pro out in Denver, he works for Altitude Denver out. It's like the fan here. He's been saying it on JB's show that he thinks that if it goes bad early, Sean Payton's gonna, try to get rid and try to get Drake May or Caleb Williams. I think Sean Payton likes Drake May, from what it sounds like.
Either or, any of those players. And flowers to Josh Dobbs, who had a good game out in Arizona.
Yeah, but
good for him.
Yeah. Dad, what do you think about Russell Wilson out in Denver in that experiment?
I don't see him being. I think they run in the whole season, no matter what. I think he.
No, they have to. But I'm saying, do you think it pans out though?
It depends on Sean Payton. If Sean Payton is really that good of a coach, then it will. It just depends on the coach. I mean, obviously Russell Wilson's talented enough. He's talented enough, but can that coach get in his head and get him turned back around?
Well, I don't know. I mean, when he makes the comments going into the season that he's telling him stop kissing babies and stop being I don't know if Sean Payton really wants Russell Wilson.
Well,
and their offensive line is terrible.
What's that?
Their offensive line is terrible.
Well, I mean, I haven't watched this Drake May, but I'm certainly not high on. I don't think Caleb Williams is your answer. So, I mean, you better have a different solution. You're going to get rid of Russell Wilson. I mean, I know he played like shit last year, and it's too early to tell. I mean, I guess you'll know by like week 6 what he's doing, but I don't know. He may here. Sean Payton already went into it saying, "Okay, this isn't my guy, and I'm gonna get rid of the bastard as soon as I can." But he better have a better solution. But I can tell you this: Caleb Williams is not the solution. I'm sorry, Mike. I know you love this guy for some reason, but
he's a very talented kid, very talented. But would I give him the keys to my franchise based on what I've seen? No.
No. He's another Lincoln Riley quarterback. And I mean, the guy shit the bed in that bowl game last year. I mean, he painted up his nails and shit the bed against Utah. Which I love Utah, but you're USC. You're Lincoln Riley. You're a blue blood program. You're supposed to be the guy. You're Caleb Williams. You shit the bed. He looked horrible.
F Utah on his nails. On his nails.
This guy.
I can't
stop with all that. So
I can't do it. I don't know. Shout out to Shedeur Sanders. He looks great.
I'd wait for one of those guys or Drew All or.
I think Shedeur is because Shedeur stock is rising rapidly.
He's almost 1,000 yards in 2 games.
Yeah, and he looks great. My gosh, he's good. That whole receiving core, their whole team is really good. They're coming, but no, I agree. Yeah. Well, who else? You got the Chargers in the AFC. Now the Chargers can run the ball too, man. They got Austin Eckler.
Their defense is bad. Their defense gave up 30 points today, and so did in the Dolphins. Kudos to them for winning that game. That was a shootout, but like they thought Vic Fangio was going to turn that around. The Dolphins also gave up 30 plus points. And outside of Xavier Howard and Javon Holland, I don't like or love the Dolphins' defensive line. There's just no playmakers there, and I don't think Vic Fangio is enough to fix it. So I don't think there's a more complete team than the Browns, at least as of right now. Like I've never understood why the Chargers defense doesn't work. They have so many players everywhere.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work for them. I just don't understand. And Brandon Staley is supposed to be a defensive-minded coach. And he has Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Derwin James, Jason Jackson, all these guys. I can't fucking figure it out. I'll be
honest. I got 2 coaching predictions. I think you're going to see Sean McVay possibly with the Chargers next year if they don't go far. And I think you're going to see Lincoln Riley in Vegas.
Well, I mean, they hired the reason why, Kellen Moore, is it? Kellen Moore, the former offensive coordinator for the Cowboys who switched jobs to be the OC over at LA for the Chargers. I think he saw the writing on the wall, and as long as the offense looks good, I think he'll get the job, and they'll just kick Staley to the curb and hire a better defensive coordinator.
Well, I know that owner. It's already been rumored. I think if they can get McVay over, all he has to do is switch locker rooms.
Yeah. And that ownership is testy, and they're probably.
I think you're going to see Sean McVay over there, and I think you're going to see Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams in Vegas. And I think you're going to see Cliff Kingsbury make a return to college and go to USC.
Yeah. Brian Dable ain't happy right now. My God.
Who, Joseph, you've watched them. Caleb Williams or Quinn Ewers? It's not even debatable.
Well, I put it like this. Quinn Ewers has just as equal, if not more, arm talent. I think Quinn Ewers – it's too – This is Quinn Ewers' big year. He just had a hell of a win last night. I think this is his leap year. Last year he was solid. He's got to make a leap because Caleb Williams is a great player. I'm not going to say he's not a great player. I don't like some of the.
Oh my God! They missed the field goal. The Giants are scoring.
Wide left, 36-yard field. But I think if Quinn Ewers can keep this up the rest of the year with his makeup and his talent, I'd rather have Quinn Ewers.
Quinn Ewers threw he threw that 55-yard bomb last night. I've never seen a pass like this ever. I mean, the dude just he makes it look so easy. But that pass that he threw, he puts the ball in the exact spot it needs to be in. I mean, the dude is so freaking good. He's everything that when we used to watch him when he was coming out of high school, when he was going to Ohio State. He just got hurt last year, and people have forgot about him. I saw Mel Kiper has a guy ranked sixth rated quarterback. Mel Kiper is an idiot.
Yeah,
I mean, this dude, I'm telling you, watch by the end of the season. No one's going to talk about Caleb Williams. It's going to be Quinn Ewers, because this dude is the real deal.
He is, and I think probably the Arch Manning transfer out of there and go to Ole Miss. But,
yeah, he might as well just transfer out.
Yeah, he might as well transfer out.
But going back to that, like, why wouldn't I don't think McVay, or not McVay, but I don't think Peyton. I don't know if Sean Payton, where he's at in his career, as long as he's been coaching, he wants to start over with a rookie quarterback. I would think they'd look for another free agent or a trade.
Well, it's got to be an elite. I mean, Mike, who do you think is going to be available, Mike, next offseason? Anybody?
I don't
think there is.
so.
Either. I don't think he would. If it's the right guy, I don't think he cares, because I think he took that job knowing he wants to stay there for a while and build his own team.
Everybody's pretty much paid.
Sean Payton?
Yeah.
Not that. I mean, he took a couple of years off. He's pretty rested. I mean, I think he wants to build it from the ground up. I think he wants to build his own program in Denver.
And he is solely in Denver. They traded a first pick for a coach.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, I think I don't think he would mind. And I think here, if you draft the right guy, in a couple of years, you should be all right. You should be fine. I mean, I don't think he would mind that, because anyone he got out of this contract, so he wasn't there for that contract in the trade they made for Wilson.
Yeah.
But yeah, Quinn Ewers, I'm curious to see how he goes the rest of the year. I wish he was still a Buckeye too, but
all right. I can't believe we let him out.
We got Ohio State's got some. Oh boy. That's a whole other ball game, but I don't know what Ryan Day's doing, and we'll see what happens in a couple of weeks. But yeah, back to the Browns though, because that's why we're here today. We all said, overall great game, complete performance, probably the most dominant performance we've seen in a long time in Browns history, such an opening day. Looking ahead to next week, Mike, I'll start with you since you watched more of the Steelers today. What do you think looking ahead to next week in that game, Monday Night Football, with the all white unis?
All white.
Oh, yeah. Old school.
I do not see the Steelers doing very well offensively. I think it's their defense didn't look great. Honestly, they look like they can be chopped up.
They're getting older.
Patrick Peterson looked old. Joe Porter Jr. Their high second round pick, first second round pick taken by the Steelers was Joey Porter Jr. and he didn't look good at all. So like their DBs still don't look good. I think we'll be able to dice them up in the passing attack, but we're gonna have to do like short passes. But their offense, man, I wouldn't be surprised if we beat them by 3 scores like the Niners did. Their offense is so bad. Like I watched them play. It was like the run blocking was awful. The pass blocking was bad. Kenny Pickett threw 2 picks. Like he looked bad. He looked uncomfortable. Like it didn't. That and Matt Canada, their offensive coordinator, is a horrible play caller. Like Steelers fans don't even like Matt Canada. So
yeah, I'm not sold on him. I agree with you, Mike. I think next week we're going to go in there and beat the hell out of them. I think the momentum we have right now, the confidence on defense, the weather will be better. I think Deshaun's getting more comfortable. I just think too, I think one thing I noticed with this defense today, you got to be able to run the ball to try to open them up a little bit, because you cannot.
Right.
With the pass rush, he could just send 4 if he wanted to, and it'd still get pressure. Our DBs are so good, and if Joe Burrow couldn't do it today, if you think Kenny Pickett and all those young receivers that are unproven and inconsistent, and Pat Freiermuth and Najee Harris, who I like, is he hurt? Yeah, I mean they can't run the ball.
Pat got hurt today.
I don't know if their O-line's even as good as Cincinnati's. Now here, one thing about Pittsburgh is they're going to come out after that kind of performance at home. They're going to come out and play a lot better. Mike Tomlin's not going to let his team come back and play like shit the next week at home.
Well, and when it'll have a week to game plan against us.
Yeah, they'll have a week. They are going to play a lot better. I don't think it's going to
watch the tape from today.
But I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I think it'll be close. But I think in the kind of like today, Mike, I think in the third quarter, you start running the ball, and this starts wearing on you. I think it's when we start to pull away.
Yeah.
And I think you'll look at another game where you think, man, we really controlled the game from start to finish.
The Steelers were getting pressure. That wasn't a problem for them. Their DBs are just bad. Like, their DBs do not look good.
Yeah,
Joey Porter Jr. is just too young, and Patrick Peterson's just too old.
they're
Like,
old. They're just a lot of their key players are gotten old, and just a lot of them retired. They're just getting old.
Yeah, and here Cam Hayward wasn't getting pressure at all. Like Cam, I think Cam Hayward is a Hall of Fame defensive tackle. I really do, but I think he's kind of at the end of his rope. You know, going into his 14th year.
Yeah, he's been around a long time. But
I don't.
Dad, what do you see real quick before we get out of here? What do you see next week?
Well, it'll certainly be a better game than today's was because, obviously I don't think the Bengals expected what they got, and so Pittsburgh will watch that tape. They'll be a little more prepared. They're at home. I got bit smacked today, so they'll come out playing harder. So it'll be a closer game, but I mean, there's no reason why we shouldn't win that game.
Yeah.
Especially the way our secondary played against Kenny Pickett. So next week, it's the way our secondary played today. If they play like that next week, going against Kenny Pickett. But here's something I was just sitting there thinking about while you guys were talking. That era, when you think of the Steelers, you think of the Steelers all the way back through the 70s, and then for 50 years. What people don't realize is that was Dick LeBeau that ran those defenses for, 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gone now. And so, what did he leave 3-4 years ago?
I think so.
I think that was, I think that Steeler, the Steelers we know is gone. You know what I mean? That was him. Yeah. Still curtain all that shit.
High on them because of legacy. They weren't high on them because of the team. They were high on them because it's the Steelers, not because of the.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Dick LeBeau is really probably the greatest defensive mind ever. He's the one that made that team. They were known for their defenses.
He left in 2015, and if you go back to 2015, there was 2017. That year they could have won the Super Bowl, and they flopped against Jacksonville. They've had some other years with lesser talent. They still finished 500, but I agree. They haven't elevated.
Their defenses are not what they used to be.
No,
and so that was their identity. Yeah. And no, we should win that game.
I think too. What I noticed today, I think we're going to be one of those balanced teams in all of football this year too.
Oh yeah, it's like Mike said. First time I've seen complimentary football. I haven't seen complimentary football since the 80s.
Yeah,
in Cleveland.
But just a balanced attack all over on both sides.
Yeah, those 80s teams had great defense, great offense, and have not seen it because the last 20 to 23 years, the offense may have played good one day, but the defense played like shit, or the defense played good, the offense played like shit.
The defense was solid, and the offense just was terrible, and a ton of interceptions and turnovers usually.
Yeah, it was just it was great to see. It was like, damn, we for once have a football team that's firing, that's good, and it's firing.
Yeah.
So let's just hope everybody can stay healthy.
Right.
I agree. But all right, gents. Any last words on the way out of here?
Go Browns. That's all I got.
Go Knights.
Go Knights. Oh yeah, shout out to Open Knights.
Play Ignatius this week. Ignatius isn't that good this year, so
yeah.
But on the road. So
yeah, we'll see. But go Browns. Great win today. Great Sunday, and we'll see you guys in the next one. I appreciate you guys for coming on and celebrating the win today with all of us. So Mike, you got any words of encouragement for next week, Mike? You want to fire up the team for next week real quick before we get out of here?
I'm pretty calm at the moment, but I will say that words of encouragement are the Steelers are bad. Just kick their ass.
All right, that's all you got to hear.
Could make for a great week. The week's always better when the Browns win.
That's
I
right.
think we're going to sell we'll sell 8 to 10 cars tomorrow.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I'm telling you, every time the Browns win, people are in a greater mood. It's so noticeable. So
I agree, man. No, I'm in a better mood.
Yeah, I agree. But shout out to the Brownies today. Shout out to Jim Schwartz. Unbelievable. We've done already. So, yeah. Well, make sure you guys like, subscribe. Mike, tell me they need to like, subscribe, and share. Mike, you mind telling them why they need to
Hey, like and subscribe and share. Tell your friends. Tell everybody. Tell people you don't like. Tell people you like. Like and subscribe is important for the algorithms and stuffs.
That's right.
Like and subscribe. Every time I see you people, I'm going to ask you, did you like and subscribe to my son's channel? Okay. All right. So you better like and subscribe.
Okay. Yeah, you guys better like and subscribe. But, all right. Love all you guys. Go Browns. And we'll see you guys next one. We're out of here.
All right.
Peace.
See you, Mike.